So if you're a person who has both played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and does not live under a rock, you have probably come across this image sometime in the past year, showing that it is possible to play a game of 8-player Smash with all 8 fighters being blonde orphans. Now upon first seeing that, you're probably thinking, wow, that's a bit morbid. But when something is morbid, there's bound to be a fair bit of curiosity. So in this video, we're gonna find out just how Smash Ultimate's 8 blonde orphans became orphans. And oh yeah, since this video is primarily about death, there's gonna be quite a few spoilers ahead. Okay? Let's go. Starting with our first fighter, we have Rosalina and Luma, and oh god, one fighter in and it's already really complicated. Okay, let's do this. So in Super Mario Galaxy, Rosalina is a space-traveling girl who helps Mario rescue Princess Peach. As you collect power stars in the game, Rosalina reads from a storybook. In this book, Rosalina reveals that as a child, she went on a journey across the galaxy to help Luma, this cute star thing, find its mother. But later in the book, Rosalina realizes that her mother is dead and buried under a tree on her home planet. Now there are many theories surrounding who Rosalina's parents are. The most popular one, and the one you've probably heard before, being that she is the daughter of Princess Peach and either Mario or Luigi. The reasons for which are very lengthy and I won't get into them in this video, but it involves Rosalina resetting the universe until she gets to an iteration where she's part of the story of the game. But no matter what theory you believe in, Rosalina's mother is dead, or at least has died at some point, and her father is out of the picture. If her father is Mario or Luigi, then they are seemingly unaware that Rosalina is their daughter, or depending on what you believe, possibly have not even conceived her yet. But no matter how you slice it, Rosalina has no parents in her life, which is sad. But wait, Luma's mother is also missing, and Rosalina never really succeeds in finding her. They kind of just go on living parentless. It's not really clear if Lumas have fathers too or not, but its mother is gone, if not dead. While Lumas don't have hair, the little tuft on their top star point is without a doubt meant to resemble the curl of a baby's hair. And their default color is yellow, similar to blonde hair. Now it's true that Lumas aren't always yellow, but in Smash Bros, these blonde orphans aren't always blonde. They have other costumes where their hair color is different, but they're counted as blonde because by default they have yellowish blonde hair. So technically, you could say that both Rosalina and Luma are both blonde orphans. Which I guess would make this 9 blonde orphans? Oh, forget it. Let's just move on to our next fighter, Brawl's own Toon Link. Unfortunately, Toon Link's parental situation is not all that clear-cut either, although it's a lot less convoluted than Rosalina and Luma's. In the games where Toon Link stars, his parents are never there. His grandma makes an appearance in Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, but his parents are never seen. While they're not confirmed to be dead, the fact that Toon Link's family is present in the game but his parents are excluded paints a rather dark picture for their whereabouts. But there's not much more we can say about him other than that. His parents are at least gone, so we can consider him parentless, if not a full-blown orphan. Now we can move on to PK boy number 2, Lucas. In Chapter 1 of Mother 3, Lucas, Claus, and their mother Hinawa go missing. Lucas and Claus soon turn up, but Hinawa is still gone. At the end of the chapter, this happens. Hinawa was killed by the Mecha Drago, a normally peaceful creature that was enhanced by Porky Minch's army. Her death has a huge impact on Lucas and his father. Wait, what? Yeah, so right about now would be a good time to define what exactly an orphan is. See, while the dictionary defines an orphan as someone of any age who has lost both of their parents to death, organizations such as UNICEF define it as specifically a child who has lost at least one parent. So, I'm going to give the maker of this meme the benefit of the doubt and say that if a fighter fits into either one of these definitions, they count. By using this principle, we can say that Rosalina, who had at least one parent die when she was a child, is an orphan. Toon Link, on the other hand, is still not confirmed to be an orphan, as we do not know for sure whether his parents are dead or not. He is only 12 years old, which would mean that if just one of his parents was dead, he would qualify, but since we're still not sure, we will classify him as parentless, which to be fair, is still very sad. But anyway, let's get back to Lucas. Lucas's father, Flint, is in the game, and he does not die. But since Lucas is 10 years old when his mother dies, he fits the UNICEF definition of being an orphan. His mother, however, makes several appearances throughout the rest of the game as a spirit, so at least his parents have some presence in his life, even if it's still a rather tragic one. Finally, moving on to the first fighter in this meme who is without a doubt an orphan, it's Zero Suit Samus. Samus Aran was born on the planet K2L to parents Virginia and Rodney Aran, who were helping turn the planet into an Earth colony. One day, when Samus was only 3 years old, the colony was raided by space pirates, led by the evil space dragon Ridley. During the raid, Samus ran into Ridley and, not knowing who he was, asked him if she could be his friend. Ridley responded by attempting to murder Samus, but her mother distracted Ridley and bought Samus enough time to get away before Ridley killed her with his plasma breath. Meanwhile, Samus's dad Rodney stuck onto a pirate spaceship as they were about to take off and sacrificed himself to blow up the ship, which wiped out the space pirates and severely injured Ridley, who was stranded on the planet along with Samus. Samus was later found and raised by the Chozo, who turned her into the super soldier we know her as. She eventually went on to get her revenge and kill Ridley. Multiple times, in fact. This of course all applies to regular suit Samus as well, because she's just Zero Suit Samus in a power suit, but since her hair's not visible, she's less fitting. Now we can move on to the one and only Barefoot Marth himself, Koren. Koren is famously half dragon, half human. The dragon half comes from his biological father, Anankos, who is a silent dragon, a human who can transform into a dragon. And the human half comes from Mikoto, her mother. But Koren also has a stepfather, Sumeragi, and an uncle/adoptive father, Garon, all of whom, by the end of Fire Emblem Fates, are dead! God, as if having two parents die was bad enough, Koren is like a double orphan. Although the term double orphan refers to someone who loses two parents, so Koren is like a double orphan. A quadruple orphan. Anyway, let's go through this in order of death, starting with Koren's stepfather, Sumeragi. Before the events of Fire Emblem Fates, Sumeragi and his stepchild, Koren, meet up with Garon, the king of Nor, to sign a peace treaty. But it was a trick, and Sumeragi is brutally murdered. Garon takes Koren and raises him in Nor. Sumeragi is then revived by Anankos and used as a pawn before being killed by Koren at the end of Fire Emblem Fates Revelation. After Sumeragi dies, Koren's mother Mikoto becomes the queen of Hoshido. When Koren eventually returns to Hoshido, Mikoto throws a parade to celebrate the return of her child. But then an assassin causes an explosion. Mikoto uses her body to shield Koren from the shrapnel, and she dies. Now for Garon and Anankos, things get a lot more convoluted, as Fire Emblem Fates has 3 different paths: Birthright, Conquest, and Revelation. In all 3 paths, Anankos replaces Garon with a water familiar. At the end of Birthright and Conquest, the replacement Garon is killed by Koren, but at the end of Revelation, he is killed by Anankos. Anankos doesn't die at the end of Birthright or Conquest, but at the end of Revelation, he is killed by Koren. But since Revelation is the quote-unquote ultimate goal of the story, I think it counts. You know, Koren's story is all the more tragic when you realize most of the times when his parents die, it's usually because of him. The number of times this dude has to kill his own parents is just cruel. Okay, that was a lot, but now we can move on to our next character, Shulk. When Shulk was a child, he and both of his parents went with a team of explorers to retrieve the Monado, which is Shulk's signature sword, from the sealed tower. But most of them, including Shulk himself, were killed by Zanza, a god whose soul was trapped inside the Monado. Shulk, however, was revived by Zanza, and he went on to unlock the power of the Monado, in honor of his parents. Well, that was simple enough. Cloud's story, however, is a bit more complicated. Cloud's father is unknown, and he died when Cloud was young. Cloud was raised by his mother for a long time until one day when Cloud was 16, when the acclaimed hero Sephiroth went insane. While on a mission at a Mako reactor core, Sephiroth came across many pods filled with mutated humans, including one that he believed was his own mother. He then came to believe that he himself was created like these mutated humans were. This eventually led to him going insane and believing that his mother was an ancient Cetra, and that he was the last of a race of ancients that humanity has betrayed. Sephiroth proclaimed a hatred for all humans, and in his rage burned down Cloud's home village, and personally murdered Cloud's mother with his 7-foot-long sword, the Masamune. For the rest of Final Fantasy VII, Cloud goes on a trek to defeat Sephiroth. For our final blonde orphan, we have DLC fighter number 4, Terry from King of Fighters. Terry's biological parents are unknown. All we know is that his parents are dead, and he and his brother Andy grew up on the streets before being adopted by Jeff Bogard. Jeff Bogard was a student of the martial arts school along with Geese Howard. The master of the school, Tung Fu Ru, one day had to choose between one of the 2 students to pass down the knowledge of the school's secret techniques. He chose Jeff over Geese because he believed Geese had evil intentions. I guess being named after waterfowl gave it away. If I had to go through life with a name like Geese, I'd probably be evil too. Geese was infuriated and vowed to get his revenge. One day, Jeff, Tung, Terry, and Andy were walking when they were attacked by Geese Howard and his men, who murdered Jeff. Terry and Andy then set out to join the King of Fighters tournament to face Geese Howard and get revenge for their adoptive father. So, that's how Smash Ultimate's 8 blonde orphans became orphans. The maker of this meme actually did a pretty good job. 5 of these fighters meet every definition of being an orphan, and 2 more meet the UNICEF definition. The only one that is questionable is Toon Link, and an easy solution for this would be to swap him out with regular Link. In Ocarina of Time, after talking to the Deku Tree Sprout, Link's mother is confirmed to be dead in a bit of exposition, and since adult Link is 16 in this game, he qualifies as an orphan. But if you think that because in Smash Ultimate Link is based on Breath of the Wild Link that he's not the same Link as Ocarina of Time Link because yada 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 10,000 year gap, then just replace him with Young Link. While Adult Link is the one that receives the exposition, it almost certainly applies to Young Link as well. Because in Smash Ultimate, Young Link is based off both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask Link. But that is it. It was pretty morbid to look at how these 8 fighters lost their parents, but our morbid curiosity revealed a lot of backstory that gives these characters that much more depth, even when we make them all fight each other. My name has been Purple Circle Man, and I'll see you in the next video.